Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Woodbridge, the best town around. Tonight we're here to honor the two middle school basketball teams who won the Woodbridge Township League this year. We're going to go ladies first and start with the Ford's Middle School girls basketball team. I'm going to start by calling up Coach. Okay. Is there anybody here from the boys team? Oh, not yet? Oh, fashion. All right, good thing we're starting with the girls then. I'd like to call up Coach Elizabeth Gimniani. Close. Jim what? Jim. Oh, the second G silent. See, I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that when we walked in. You want to say anything to... Why don't you start by talking about the team and the season and how long you've been coaching?
At Ford's probably for like 8 years. I do every sport. I don't need the microphone. We know I'm loud. I'm the softball, the basketball, the bowling coach. So my girls, you know how I am. I don't want to get emotional, but Ford's girls have never won anything. So this is like a big deal. So this is our first banner, our first championship, and we did it with a very good fashion, being undefeated, 9-0. So it's like a very perfect.
So have you coached since middle school sports started? Are you the only?
No, since I've been at Ford's, yes. I'm looking over at this.
When did middle school sports start? Anybody know?
At least 10, right? 10?
Is
10
it that
years
long?
ago? 10 years ago?
He's sick, not it.
I was at the high school, got hurt here.
All right. So this is your first complete title.
Yes.
Okay, terrific.
The history, and we made other history because boys I don't think have ever been undefeated either, so this is a big deal for girls.
You don't have to pick on the boys.
Well, my Ford's boys, they know who they are.
No,
So
all
we're
right.
good.
They're not here. They're not here to
they're good,
defend
they're good.
themselves.
They were good, but this is a big deal for Ford's and our history.
No, that's great. That's great. Let's hear it one more time for Coach. Yeah, stay up here, yeah. All right, we're going to call up the players. Kara Bilgilly. I don't know if I said that right. Was it close? It's what? Oh, Kyra. All right, but I got the last name right? I'm not going to say it anymore. Ivana Gaddato. Oh, wait, so you're a guard. Ivana Gaddato is a guard. Congratulations. Kylie Gunnell is a guard.
First players over here.
Okay. Congratulations. Alana Liu. Alana Liu is a forward. Congratulations. Olivia Lewis is a forward. Layla Mercado is a guard. Angelique Montlewis is a center. You got somebody in your family plays too, right? You have a brother? I thought that he plays ball too, right? Football. Oh, that's why I recognize the name. Okay. Kylie Undaiko is a guard. Sophia Rodriguez is a guard. Ariana Sosa is a guard. And Abigail Zylar is a center. All right, now do you guys have like a team captain?
Two.
Who? Layla, come on up. This is part of your team captain responsibilities. So tell me, petrified.
Up with the next.
All right, so tell me, who wants to tell me about the season and what did you expect coming into this? And go ahead, tell me all about it.
Last year we lost a game against Avenel. We were a bit upset by that, but I feel like that.
The championship?
No, in the playoffs.
Okay, in the playoffs,
And
okay.
I feel like that's kind of made us play better, come with more strength and more team morale.
You lost the playoffs?
Yeah.
You got to get in there.
But yeah, I feel like this team has been really great with all of our players, and we built a really great team chemistry, which probably made us win the championship other than our skills.
So who did you beat in the finals?
We beat Globe.
Okay, big game. How many points?
We beat it 51-37.
37. Who's the lead scorer in the final game?
Ariana. Yes, Ariana.
Ariana was you the guard?
Yep.
All right, tell me about your coach.
I was on the team last year as well, and Coach Janani is like such a great coach, and I feel so grateful to play under her.
Why? Tell me why she's such a great coach.
Because she's a great coach because she knows when to be serious at the same time, knowing like when to have fun with us, and like we had a lot of fun moments during practice.
It's a pretty good skill to be able to tell the difference. How about you? You're very talkative. What else you want to say?
I played last year, and like she said, we lost the championship, and we were all upset about it. But this year was kind of different because me and my team built a bond, and that's how I think we won the championship because we all work together as a team.
Okay, how many of you are eighth graders? How many? 7. And are 6th graders allowed to play yet? Not yet? Okay. Anything else you want to say about the team, or about the coach, or about the principal? Don't forget the principal.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be her overall leadership.
Yeah.
Right? No? Anybody else want to say a few words? So you know your principal came to our Martin Luther King Jr. celebration a week ago on Monday, and she was a guest speaker, and she rocked it. She rocked it. As soon as she stood up and started saying a few words, she had people cheering in the stands in the audience, and she did a phenomenal job. Did you guys know that? Oh, now you know it.
And you can watch the Channel 35.
Maybe we should further embarrass the principal and ask her to come up. Come on, if you did what you did a week ago last night, yeah. Tell me what it's like. You got there last season, or last school year.
December, right in December. Yeah.
So this is the first year you've had a full year being the principal for these girls, and they won the whole darn thing.
Yes.
So you take full credit for it, right?
Now, I'm not going to take full credit for it because these girls worked hard with the guidance of the coach. Like the whole year, just wanted them to believe in themselves that they can do this. So from the first game, I know a lot of them thought like, oh, this is an anomaly. But game 2, game 3, and they just kept going on strong and like with such good sportsmanship along with that. They were working with one another, and look at them now. I always tell them their championships, we're number 1, and we're number 1. I'm going to say it all the time. We're number 1. So proud.
All right, why don't we remove the mic and let you guys center here? We'll get some pictures. But sometimes I forget. We're joined by Councilwoman Lisbeth DeJesus, Councilwoman at Large. Debbie Means, the 5th Ward Councilwoman in Colonia. Greg Ficarra is the Councilman at Large. And Kyle Anderson is a Councilman at Large. I'm going to ask... Oh, Sharon. Sorry.
She fit in with the girls. She just likes to.
You're the same size as everybody in the middle school. What can I do? And 1st Ward Councilwoman Sharon McAuliffe, who covers Woodbridge proper and Seymour. So Councilwoman Lisbeth DeJesus has had girls' sports on her agenda. She's been an advocate for it since she's been on the council, which I think now is 8 or 9 years. Lisbeth, you want to say a few words?
So, good afternoon, good evening. So yes, I'm very passionate about girls' sports because I feel that girls work just as hard as the boys. They don't get the same recognition. So I'm making one plea, and that is, your girls are going to be going to high school next year. Odds are, and I'm encouraging each and every one of you to try out for basketballs and various other sports, to go and watch your girls play and invite your friends, invite your family, everyone to come and support the girls. If you go to any high school game that a girls team is playing, you're going to find the parents understand, and you won't find anybody else. You go to a boys game and the whole stadium is full. I have a problem with that, and I think you should all have a problem with that because they work just as hard as the boys. Second of all, I happen to be working this year at Ford's Middle School, and I gotta say that Coach Jamnani is fabulous with her girls. From day one, she has encouraged her girls. From day one, she has built the team. Prior to there being a team, she was building a team already, and she has celebrated their losses and celebrated their wins. And I think that's very important, to encourage our girls that whether you win or lose, you should still continue to play the sport that you're passionate about. And I want to make one announcement. Last year, we celebrated Women's History Month in our township, and we recognized various women in our township that have been trailblazers, including all of our women police officers. This year, we're going to be celebrating our women in sports in Woodbridge Township. And we are going to go back, way back, and celebrate all of the women that were trailblazers for the sports. But I would like to encourage the team and encourage all of you to come and celebrate with us when we raise the flag for Women's History Month, because we will be recognizing absolutely every woman and every girl that plays a sport. And again, just remember this day. They should remember how they feel today. The parents should remember how proud they feel today. Encourage your girls to participate in sports in high school and support your girls to continue playing. And not only that, but I know it's difficult because I had a girl that played basketball, and sometimes you couldn't make it there at 4. And then at one time I had 2 playing at the same time, so we had to split up. But whoever can go and support, please do, and encourage your friends to go and support too. And whether they're playing or their friends are playing, we should be there supporting the girls. That is all that I have. Have a good evening.
So, as Beth mentioned, the police department, we have an officer here, Sue Ellen, from the Woodbridge Police Department, whose daughter is behind me somewhere. Which one of you is Sue Ellen's daughter? Hi, come here. Come on up. Tell me what it's like to have a mother who's famous but being a member of the best police department in the state of New Jersey.
And former athlete at First Amboy High.
All right.
Oh, all right. Let's get into that in a minute. Go ahead. Tell me what does it feel like to have a mom who's a police officer in this great township?
It's fun because I get some opportunities some people don't. Like when they have PTO things and have fun things to do like that, I get to go with my mom.
It'd be a big shock if your mom's a police officer.
Oh yeah.
All right. That's cool.
Kylie came with her mom to shop with the cops, so she was there.
Oh, you
and
help
other
volunteer?
children, yeah.
Isn't that the coolest thing?
Mhm.
You got, so what happens there, folks, is 70 kids, 80 kids or so, all go to Walmart, they all get the cart, their parents with them, and the police officers with them, and they have a budget, and they go around and the kids get to pick out what they want for Christmas. So you went there, not as a kid getting toys, you went there as somebody helping another kid in another family.
Yeah.
Wow, nothing, okay. Tell me about Sue Ellen, the athlete here, this is interesting.
She was a great athlete at First Amboy High School. She moved to Woodbridge. We live in the same neighborhood. Jimmy, her husband, is there. And it's just nice to see that tradition.
All right, terrific.
It's great to have that connection.
All righty. And we were also joined by Councilman at Large Brian Small and Third Ward Councilman covering Avenel, Port Reading, Corey Spiller. So thank you, folks. We'll get right back with the boys. Okay, next up, we are going to honor the Avenel Middle School boys basketball team. I'd like to first call up Coach Jonathan Siswo. Congratulations. The team finished with a 6-4 record, which I'm interested to learn because the 4 losses had to come in the regular season because you swept through the playoffs. So tell me about what happened there. You had an average kind of season. You peaked at the right time. Take it away.
Yeah, so a little all the above what you just said. So this was this was probably the most competitive boys season since the beginning that they started over 10 years ago.
Okay.
We split with every team, so we went 4-4. We were actually going into our 7th game of the season. We were 2-4, needing to win the 2 last games, and then we needed some things to happen. Some other teams to beat other teams, and we needed to hold. I think it was Woodbridge that we played last. We needed to hold them to a certain point, which we did, and the other
Top 3 make the playoffs.
top 3 makes the playoffs. Yeah.
2 plays 3, 1 plays 1.
Yeah,
Okay, so
and then
3.
we were 3. So we barely made it in, and we got hot at the right time, and that we played our best basketball at the right time, and came out on top.
Anything you can credit for that? Anybody injured come back?
I think
Like
just, I mean, the season's real short. It's 8 games. I think it takes a little bit for everyone to kind of gel together. we kind of switched some lineups around, and by the 5th game in the season, they started to play well with each other. The lineups worked well, and by game 6, 7, 8, and then the playoffs, we were well-oiled machine.
Good, very good. Tribute to good coaching.
Thank you.
All right, let's go with the players. Number 1, Nazar Martirkanic, guard. Let's hear. I messed up your first name and your last name, didn't I? All right. There you go. Number 2, Tyron Holloway. Okay. Number 3, Glenn Moore. Congratulations. Number 4, Kylie Robinson Fletcher. Oh, by the way, he's a guard. Forward, Krithik Saravanraj, number 10. Congratulations, pal. Guard, Tegan Amponsa, number 11. Oh, not here. All right. Guard, number 12, Aiden Robinson. You call it Kevin? No, different Robinson, okay. Oh, really? Cool. Number 21, center, Jordan Ramos. Yeah. Center, number 22, Damian Niepla. I don't know who told you to play center, but it was a good call. Number 23, forward, Christian Barber. Number 25, Chase Galgani. All right, do we have a captain on this team? All right, so we heard a little bit about the story. Tell me why you think the team goes from 2-4 to 6-4 and wins the whole thing.
Well, everyone here, we started a little bit off a bit. Needed to get the teamwork in, yeah, and by the end of everything, as you can tell, we swept to the playoffs.
Who should beat the finals?
In the finals, we played, Israel? Yeah.
And what score did you beat it by?
10.
How much?
Take it by 10, yeah.
Who was the biggest score in the finals? All right. What else you want to say about the team? Give me the coach.
Yeah.
Looking at the coach.
So,
Yeah.
the reason why I picked him as our captain, he was our only guy coming back from last year's
Yeah.
team.
Oh, really?
Last year's team, we were 0-8. So, this is a real,
Wow.
worst to first type of. Yeah. He was the sole survivor from last year's
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
So why do you think the coach is a good coach?
He's definitely gotten better from last time. As you can see in the championship.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
Couldn't have done it without this team right here. Yeah.
All right.
That's all.
Say anything? Usually there's no volunteers. Nobody? Anybody else in the council?
I just want to add one
Go ahead.
So I love middle school sports, and my boys played over at Colonia High School, Colonia Middle, and for a while, Colonia seemed like they were sweeping through everything. And for years, it just always seemed like we were always honoring Colonia, and it says a lot about their athletic program. But what I like is to see 2 different programs coming in here, and it shows that there's balance in the township, and that the high schools are going to get fed with some pretty good athletes. And I know Coach Siswell, he's also a baseball coach up at Woodbridge High School, and a fine coach.
Wait,
But
that means you went undefeated last year? You had that team?
I wish we did.
Did you have 25 wins?
We did, yeah.
yes,
25. 25 and 2.
Close enough.
25 and 2. I'm sorry. Still undefeated. All right. That's all the playoffs.
well, he's a very good coach. But the middle school sports are great. I mean, when they went away for about like 15, 20 years, but like when Brian and I were in middle school, that was something we look forward to every day. And so these kids all get to know each other and look forward to competing against each other. It's a short season, but it's a lot of fun. I know that we've all broadcast the finals, and they are exciting. It brings out so much school spirit, and the kids really get into it. So it's nice to see another school besides the same schools coming in every year and doing it. So we'll look forward to seeing those kids at, whether they go to Colonia High School, Woodbridge, or JFK, we'll look forward to cheering them on when they get to high school.
All right, guys, let's take a deep breath. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I forgot the principal. The principal listening. Oh, yes, sorry. Come on up. I totally missed that. Come on up, Rob. Good thing Councilman Small reminded me. Let me ask you to come up and say a few words about this team. Tell me about the season and the team.
Season was obviously a very successful season, but I think the thing we were most proud of this year is we met with the kids after the team was made. It was the first or second practice, and I went down there. Being a former coach here in the township at the high school level, we just talked, Coach Swissalo and I talked to the kids about just playing the right way. And honestly, whether we won one game or we won the championship like we did, all of you up here played the game the right way. Someone on the other team fell, we picked them up. Ref made a bad call. Referee, one of the toughest jobs you can have. There was no argument. Just went back down the court the other way and did your best for that next play. You bought into everything that Coach Siswell was teaching you and talking about, and sports is really it's similar to life, and that's what it's about. It's about being a good person, put forth your best effort, and if you do those two things, you'll be a success. So that's the thing I was proud of.
This is also your first year down in the middle.
Yes.
So is there a trend here? You get a new principal, your team wins the championship?
Yeah, me and Ms. Murphy, I guess just been beginner's luck, right? Chalk it up to that. Let's see if we can do it again next year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al. One more time, everyone.
I like it here.
All right, can we all rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silence for those protecting our freedoms and for anybody that's been mistreated around the world. We've had some rough goes the last few days. Thank you very much.
Notice requirements of the public meeting law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The home issue being the Star Ledger published notice on November 22nd, 2022. A copy of the schedule is posted on the municipal bulletin board, and it should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Spiller.
Here.
Councilwoman Meehan.
Here.
Councilman Patel. Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman De Jesus.
Here.
Councilman Small. Here. Councilwoman McCullough.
Here.
Councilman Carroll.
Here.
All right, Councilman Bauer.
Here.
Apologize about the order, that'll be changed at the next meeting.
That's okay. No.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from January 3rd, 2023?
Motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Beginning with second reading ordinances this evening, we have two listed as letters A and B. We'll take letter A first, which is an ordinance dedicating a permanent easement over a piece of property here in Woodbridge. We discussed this in the past. This is with regards to a piece of property on Main Street. That said, can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter A only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval?
We got somebody going up. I'm sorry. Got to be a little quicker, Mr. John.
You got it, like last time, right? Okay, the letter A and B, right?
Just letter A.
That's the same thing on January 3rd, about to convey the piece of property forwards to the redevelop agency.
Letter A, sir.
Just letter A.
Okay, letter A to the, just spoke last time about the need of the public purpose. You said it was not going to be needed for public purpose, but again, it's going to be needed for some kind of public expansion, right? That's letter A. And the letter B, can I go there?
No, just letter A right now, Mr.
So that we disagreed last time, they will not be needed for public purpose, and yet it's going to be give to somebody to use it for public use. So the question is, who are those people that we kind of giving that property to?
I'm not sure if I totally understand the question, but the easement is for ADA access to a building.
What's ADA?
American Disabilities Act. It's for people that need a ramp or something to get into the building.
Well,
So
that's
it's a
any-
small little easement that's not really displacing any parking or anything else. So it makes perfect sense to make it accessible to people with disabilities.
We got a problem all over the town for people with disability, every corner, every intersection. My question would be, who's adjoining property next to the easement?
I didn't hear that.
Council
so-
President, there's a building on Main Street, and right outside the building is a very tiny little alleyway that the township owns to connect people from James Street out to, actually, it doesn't even take you all the way out to Main Street, it just kind of dead ends. For some reason, we own it. The building needs to have an exit for handicapped accessibility, as you said, and they want to be able to use our easement to get people out that are handicapped. It's about a 100 square foot piece of property. This is not anything that anybody's losing the access to or losing the asset. It's just a little alleyway that people need to get out if they're in a wheelchair.
I assume they can get in that way too?
Yes.
Does
you
it
go.
go to the James Street? From Main Street to James Street?
The piece we own fronts on North James Street.
Right? So more likely it's going to be used for this big complex building over there behind it.
I don't know what, you're
The
just
brand new
making
building
something up now. I don't
behind
know
the
what you're
post
saying.
office, the brand new building you're building there.
Who said it's got anything to do with the post office?
No, I didn't say that. I just said behind the
did.
post office, the big building that's built over there by the Wick people, Wick
This is to be
company.
used by 106 Main Street,
Yeah, it
way
has
far
nothing
away
to do
from the
with
post
that,
office.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on ordinance A? Oop, sorry, that was yours.
There are no other questions. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter B is an ordinance authorizing direct neck title and possession of certain property be conveyed to the redevelopment agency, property known as 535-537 New Brunswick Avenue. May I have a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter B. Letter B only.
Good evening, Tom Maris, Sports New Jersey. I'll try to make this as succinct as I possibly can. Who is conveying the title to whom? Well, I should say, it's being conveyed to the redevelopment agency. From whom and for what purpose?
From whom? I'm not sure of that.
The township purchased it, Mr. Maris, several months ago. We are turning it over to the redevelopment agency so that they can work with the selected redeveloper and the Woodbridge Housing Authority to knock down, it's the Ford's Theater property. It's been vacant for, I don't know, Howie might know better than me,
Okay.
20, 30 years. It's going to be knocked down to build brand-new housing for the people next door at Olson Tower. And then when they move in, Olson Tower is going to be raised for market rate housing. It's exactly the model we used downtown, where we wanted to give the residents of Stern Tower better housing. So we got the land next to the Sycamore Senior Center, which we owned, and
Yes.
we built Red Oak apartments there. They're beautiful. And then the people moved out of the concrete jungle in Stern Tower into brand new beautiful apartments. And we knocked down Stern Tower, not we, the developer who built those apartments knocked down Stern Tower for the Park luxury apartment complex. The exact same thing is happening here with the exact same redeveloper, and all we're doing is getting the land that we had in the hands of the redevelopment agency, as we usually do, to facilitate that redevelopment.
Yes, thank you for the answer. I think it'll help everybody else that's in the audience understand exactly what's going on. Definitely, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments under letter B? Hearing no other comments, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, this ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Listed before you are ordinances for first readings, letters C through K. Can I get a motion that these ordinances be passed on first reading, published in the Homeowners Tribune on Friday, January 27th, 2023, with notice of public hearing to be held on February 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m.?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And finally, Mr. President, we have resolutions listed before you 1 through 37. If I can get them approved by consent. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
All righty, now we're going to move to the public portion of the meeting. When approaching the microphone, please state your name and the section of town or the state that you live in. We'd appreciate that. You will have a one-time opportunity to speak up to 5 minutes. All videotaping must be taken from the rear of the room. There's a designated area in the back. There will be no shouting out from your seats, please. And please be respectful to each other. Please make sure that there are nothing blocking the aisles or anything like that. Bottom line is let's just be kind to each other. So the floor is open.
Before starting the timer, I just have a quick logistics question about, we don't do public comment on first readings. I couldn't hear what you were saying before. Is that, so only during the second readings? Is this,
Yes.
you can hear me, right? Everybody
Yep.
can hear me, right? And then one quick thing, just when we do that on the next meeting about letter E, is there, at other council meetings I've been to, there's usually a podium or something, just because I'll take notes and stuff. May I just ask to consider a podium for people who want to take notes on the side of it, just a logistics thing?
Sure, good point. I'm making a note of that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I mean, so 5 minutes won't be enough. I'll follow up with everybody offline, and I'll also follow up with Mr. Duda to get more information, but I can see that letter E is, I'm assuming, as it says, a residential pilot. I'm going to assume long-term, meaning 30 years.
For
letter E, the first reading one.
You know what, I got out of my ordinances, but if it's the one over in Metro Park, yes.
For Woodmont Metro Park?
Yes.
So do we have, and again, I will get some of this information afterwards. I'll ask for it from Mr. Duda and the tax area. Can someone speak to what is the financial justification or the argument being made for 30 years on it? Because this is some of the stuff that I'm following up with you guys individually, is to go through Vermilla as an example, where I've gone through the entire financial statements, and I'm going to argue that I understand, and Mr. McCormick made very good points where, again, I misspoke when I brought up Vermilla as a looking at the financials, how it's, you know, the revenue up front is low because not all the units are filled, but over time, when you run a pro forma and using the numbers they provided about how much tax will be collected through the pilot versus if it were a rateable, it was about 49 million versus 81, 82 million. Those are the numbers in the agreement. Those are not ones I made up. But I didn't reference the point that you made, Mr. McCormick, about the reason we do this is so that it can be financially feasible until they get to full occupancy, rents go up, et cetera, as popularity increases in the area and desirability, which I'm loving seeing all the restaurants coming up, by the way. I'm quite excited. I want to talk offline, though, because I would like someone to walk through the financial justification for 30 years on this, where I'm going to again argue that for residential buildings, 10 to 15 at the most, where there's a balance between giving them the financial incentive to get where they need to get to, after which we are just subsidizing the profit margins on that building. And I'm 100% capitalist. I work in finance. I am not anti all of that. But to a point where taxpayer subsidies and pilots fatten the profit margins, which of course all the developers are saying we can't do it without 30, we can't do it without 30 years. Yes, they can, they have, they will, because this place is becoming highly desirable. So with the little bit of time left, can someone today, right now, walk through the financial justifications for 30 over 10 to 15 in detail? Because we just voted on it to pass it as a first reading, but in front of you, are you prepared to talk me through all of the justifications for 30 over 10 to 15 years of a pilot?
Well, we're certainly not going to do it now because, as you pointed out, it's rather detailed. But the short answer to it is that our financial people that are pretty well equipped themselves have looked it over, and it fits well for what we're trying to accomplish.
And define fit, I don't mean to interrupt, but so it all depends on how we define, so what do you mean by fit?
Exactly.
Fit
Well, as I said to you, it would take a lot longer time to define fit. But by way of example, you have done a very good job of sharing with the council various situations. Bayonne, I believe, was the last one.
And I know it's not all apples to apples, different towns.
Yeah,
I get all that.
it is a little different, but I think, you're making a point. It's just that our financial people, the key word in the Bayonne is that the folks were using the term regularly throughout that article, scrutinizing everyone and not rubber stamping it and just pushing it through.
Well, but scrutinizing and then coming down to 10 to 15.
Well, because that worked for them. My point is that we scrutinize this and feel that it works best for us for 30 to be able to attract them and make the finances work. That's a general answer. It's not what they're looking for.
With a little bit of time on the short.
Excuse me, sir, I just want to tell you, you got 1 minute left. I don't want you to be surprised.
The short rebuttal I'll take that is, and I would love to, as part of the offline in discussion, is to maybe include some of the financial people so I understand the exact justification, because sometimes left hand doesn't speak to right hand, and in the context of total tax bill and school budgets, yes, tax bills only go up for the schools, the budgets go up 2% a year. We've received so much state aid that they've gone up 10, 15, 20, 30%. And one day that aid will be pulled, and I hope the financial justification pulls what that's going to look like when school funding one day does get pulled, and all these piloted buildings don't contribute to that. Again, different than one-offs like parks and facilities, structural budgetary differences. The ratables will be making up all that difference. That's the piece I'm concerned about within 10 to 15 years. That's what will happen.
Okay.
Well, so I would love to continue it offline, but
Yep.
I appreciate
Just so you know, the money that we received from the state for our schools was very low for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And just recently, they got it back to where it should be. So
But yeah, the sad part is they increased the budget by that much instead of offloading our tax burden, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep, thank you.
Any other comments this evening from the public? Hearing no other comment?
Good evening, Kathy Cucci, Cutterstock Road, Woodbridge proper. You will all know why I'm here. About a week ago, we had the speed sign put up in front of the house, the electronic one. It was on a Sunday morning. Friday, it disappeared. It didn't work the entire time it was there. It didn't deter the traffic from slowing down. I'm just wondering why it was put up, never turned on, and then taken down within a week.
So Kathy, I didn't see it. So tell me again, it was up but never turned on.
It was brought up, it was put up on a very early Sunday morning, I want to say a week ago. It didn't work all week, and Friday afternoon it was gone.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I know, and then I'm going to kick it over to administration. I do know that the state sent us an email that the limit of weight to go over that bridge has changed, and not every vehicle can go over that bridge. So there's some serious discussion about rerouting. Okay. That's what I do know. So okay. I don't know if it started and then there's a change, because remember, that's not necessarily just us, it's coordination between us and the state. That's what I know. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
I know the sign was put up to address the complaint. Then we got a follow-up complaint that the sign wasn't working. The traffic enforcement unit went out there, checked the sign. The sign was working. I wasn't aware that the sign was moved. I'd have to check and see if it was moved and why it was moved.
Okay, so then Kathy, what I said to you...
Yeah, it was just gone altogether. It's not on the street at all.
And there may be a reason why it's not there anymore. I don't know. But as far as the sign not working, we got that complaint, we checked the sign, and the sign was working.
Okay.
So, Council President.
Because my only question is we had a vehicle, one of our vehicles, that was parked right in front of it. So I didn't know if that had something to do with the sign not working, because a couple times I come home that night and it didn't register anything.
If you're not speeding, it won't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
If you're not speeding, you won't see it, you won't notice it.
Oh, okay, so it's not like the...
Congratulations.
Okay, well, see, you learn something new every time you come here. Okay, my other issue is we're getting cars parked overnight. There's a car there now since last Friday. I don't know, it's like an overnight parking spot lately. Now, I know we can't do residential
Out on Cutter's
parking.
Dock, Kath?
Yes. I know we can't do residential parking permits, but we also have the martial arts building next door, which also had another affair last week where the residents couldn't park because we had tons and tons of cars. Nobody in the area called the cops to complain this time, but it's getting to be a bit much again with them because there's no way. Right now, we're parking on Strawberry Hill just to avoid our cars getting hit by these trucks. You got trucks, you got the martial arts, it turns into a very narrow road. And again, these kids are being dropped off, something's gonna happen. I hate to say, but something's gonna happen. If you go there now, it's like a traffic jam. Because they're open again tonight, and you got the trucks going up and down, somebody's gonna get hit. So it's more safety than just being a pain in the butt.
Right.
But I don't know, and I did get an email from the mayor, and thank you for that, but there was never a follow-up, that's why I'm here, so.
Okay. Deputy Director, can you just check?
Yeah, I mean, we tell folks all the time, if you have a complaint, call us at the time you have the complaint so we could address it immediately. I mean, if you complain that you had a parking problem and called at the time you had the parking problem, we would send the area car over to address it. Telling us after the fact makes it very hard for us to do anything, but if you've had a car parked out there for several days, we could investigate if that's an ordinance violation and take the appropriate action. I mean, it's just a matter of calling the non-emergency number and reporting these complaints, and you would get the service you need.
Okay, well, I'll call when I get home, but as far as the parking from the martial arts building, we had this a couple years ago, and I think, Greg, you remember, where we had to have the fire department come in because the building was just overloaded with people. And then it got into a confrontation with the owner of the building. And that's what we were trying to avoid this time.
Okay, we'll note that, Pat. You got about 30
And he was told
seconds.
at that point, if he was gonna have another one, that the township needed to be notified of it.
Okay.
And obviously that didn't happen, but I'll make a point of calling tonight, because then, like I said, they work over the bridge, but they park the cars. I think the guy did that with his double back. He hasn't been back since.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you.
Kathy, well, my comments about the bridge are correct. They were irrelevant to your question.
Oh, it's okay.
That sign had nothing to do with that.
I
didn't realize.
I just didn't know what happened to that song.
Thank you.
You know, it shows up and then it disappears.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
John Vertarik, Woodbridge. I want to go back as of January 3rd meeting on a resolution over here, number 26, precision electric motor work for a rooftop blower unit replaced by the Woodbridge Community Center emergency basis on an amount of $9,000. Now that a blower on the roof of the community center, what is the blower supposed to do over there?
What does the blower do with the community center?
On the top of the roof
I
of the
believe
community
it's
center.
air exchanged. Mr. Samaluka?
Yeah, so at the community center, there's active and passive gas system. It's to evacuate the gases that are underneath the building. And there's a pump, there's actually 3 of them that sit on the top of the roof, and one needed to be replaced.
So what you say, it's actually the methane gas that's coming from the building, right?
Correct. It's a closed landfill. It's
Yeah.
well noted.
Mr. Suluka, do you have just one blower or you got more than one?
There's 3.
Good, that's right. That's
There's
what
3.
You should-
There's a redundancy.
You can't depend just on one because I know
Yeah.
bridges of people have to go out. I want to back again on the same day. A couple of months ago, I approached the mayor, what are you going to do about the Main Street traffic? Are you going to widen the Main Street? And that time he said, no, we have nothing to do with it. The Main Street is a county road, and the Route 9 is a state road. Now, on over here on the 28th, number 28, agreement with CME, Association of Professional Engineering Services for construction phase of improvements, Route 9 and Main Street. Now, if we have nothing to do with it, it's a state problem. If the state's supposed to do the job, why are we spending $247,000, $932 to study or try to engineering over there if this is not our road? You said yourself, it's supposed to state and a county, Main Street. And they're the one with the problem of the traffic on the
If you're referring to Main Street and Route 9 by Wegmans, is that what you're referring to?
I'm preferring traffic on Main Street and Route 9.
Well, traffic on Main Street is affected by that intersection where if you've been up there, you know there's significant work going on. And it is cooperation between the state, the county, and us, because it's in our town and it's going to positively affect us. So I don't understand what your question is. Why are we spending money?
Because the mayor said it's not our problem, it's not our road, it's a Route 9.
I don't remember that, but Mayor, would you care to shed, would you like the mayor
That
to?
is not what I said. I don't recall you even asking about widening Main Street, because we're certainly widening Main Street. As soon as you get up toward, before Route 9 on the right, we have to widen it, because that's part of the problem with the logjam there, is that if one car is making a left and the second car queues up behind them, nobody can get by. So we are definitely widening Main Street. So I didn't say that. We are the responsible party for a $12 million grant from the state to do the entire Main Street Route 9 project. That means we have to enter into the contracts because we're the granting entity and we're the authorizing the contracts. You're looking at one of those contracts from a $12 million grant. That's all.
Now, that $12 million grant is supposed to put a new ramp coming from Route 9 to the Main
Bitar,
Street.
1 minute.
There's not
I
a
just
new
want you to
ramp
know.
coming from Route 9. The ramp's going to be enhanced and improved, but it's not going to be a new ramp.
It's still going to cost $12 million.
Sorry?
It's still going to cost $12 million.
It's not costing us $12 million. The county, it's the funding provided by the state through the county to the town. Not one penny of that $12 million is ours. There's other ancillary things we may have to pay as part of it, like acquiring easements if it's related to Upper Main Street, not by Route 9. But the $12 million grant came from the state. It's not our money. We are, however, running the project.
Good. Again, the third traffic light, where's it exactly going to be put there? You're supposed to put another traffic light there before the Wegmans.
There's a traffic light being installed at the entrance to the Lowe's, Wegmans, Wells Fargo strip there, so that the people who use that, it'll be a four-way intersection, and the people who come out of there will now be able to make a left, and the people who go in there from the other side of Main Street up by the club will come down and they'll be able to make a left in. It'll be a complete four-way intersection, which is, I think, desperately needed up there.
Okay, that's your time is up, Mr. Bitar. Thank you. Anyone else? Sorry, on a roll.
Good evening, Paul Lund, Hope Lawn. Here I am again. I've been making putting a lot of time into these meetings. I used to come only in a year where I was running for office, running for council, running for Board of Ed, running for State Senate. And after collecting my 1 out of 3 votes, I'd be satisfied, oh, at least we closed the gap, because Republicans in this neck of the woods are a little bit more outnumbered than that. And I'm 60 years old now, and I have to really, I really consider where I spend my time and energy these days. And my reasons for being here have changed. I think it's got nothing to do. I've often said it's probably lucky I never got into office, because I'd probably, wherefore but by the grace of God, I'd be tempted to compromise, maybe to the point where I'm compromising my own values to get something done. And I wouldn't want to be in that position. I'm here now as a citizen As you well know, I've been bringing up topics that we never would have dreamed of talking about a few years ago. It seems we're talking a lot about sex and race these days because that's what is being really the main topics, it seems, in school, K through 12. Ron DeSantis passes a bill that kindergartners through 3rd grade should not be taught gender identity or be in a position where they're confused about gender at that age. They're young. They're impressionable. They need stability at that point, not questioning whether the sex they were assigned at birth is the right one. There's something that seems to me not too extreme to ask not to indoctrinate the youngest of the Woodbridge children. So I'm here for a different reason. I look at the Democrat Party, and I hate to be partisan, but Mr. McCormick points out rightfully that there was a time where local politics was different than national politics. But what's being pushed on a local level these days, and one example on a national level, is that 210 Democrats in the Assembly a couple Wednesdays ago voted no to provide care to a baby who survived an abortion attempt. And in fact, even 2 weeks perinatal after birth would refuse care for a baby. And I got to look at that. I can't allow myself to be desensitized. How callous, how diminished is the value of life when you can't even vote to provide care to a baby born that survived an abortion? To me, I am going to appeal to everyone who considers themselves still a Democrat. The party has left you a long time ago. What I'm standing for now is not for me to get on that council, but for some of you guys to stand up and with your conscience and the conviction in your souls, stand up for principles that you used to stand up for, that you still pretend your party stands up for. And maybe you do on a local level. Maybe you're closet Republicans, like our mayor, who I heard voted for Trump twice. Maybe not. All I'm asking is to examine your consciences, because this goes well beyond your service to the community. There is an afterlife in my belief system, and you're going to have a higher authority to answer to at some point.
Thank you. You look good for 60 there, Mr. Malone.
Any other comments from the public this evening?
Good evening, Jimmy Dabrowski, Perth Amboy Area Branch, NAACP. Our community's oldest and largest civil rights organization would like to acknowledge the political courage of the East Brunswick Township Council, who just last night became the 12th governing body to formally oppose a proposed 3rd fossil fuel power plant here in Woodbridge Township. East Brunswick unanimously passed the resolution which calls on Governor Murphy and his Department of Environmental Protection to reject the air permits needed by the Competitive Power Ventures Corporation to further pollute the air of our overburdened environmental justice community. The East Brunswick Council joins the councils of Edison, Highland Park, Hoboken, Perth Amboy, Franklin, Sayreville, Rahway, Cranberry, and South Brunswick, as well as the Somerset County Commissioners and the Highland Park Board of Education. During a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day speech in 2011, our nation's first black Attorney General, Eric Holder, praised MLK for paving the way for our nation's now thriving environmental justice movement. Holder stated, "The burden of environmental degradation still falls disproportionately on low-income communities of color, and most often on their youngest residents, our children. This is unacceptable and unconscionable. It must be noted that the proposed site of this power plant is in Caseby, the lowest income and least white section of Woodbridge Township, and which already has a massive fossil fuel plant that has been spewing out toxins nonstop since January of 2016. Holder concluded, "Today, together, we are approaching environmental justice as what it is, a civil rights issue. Dr. King did not have the chance to witness the impact of the movement he began, but he left us with the creed that continues to guide our work. His enduring words, which he penned from a Birmingham jail cell, still remind us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I am hopeful that this country can become the global example of environmental justice that Dr. King once envisioned." As we approach Black History Month, I'd like to again quote Eric Holder, who in a February 2009 speech stated, Though this nation has proudly thought of itself as an ethnic melting pot, in things racial, we have always been and continue to be a nation of cowards. Though race-related issues continue to occupy a significant portion of our political discussion, we simply do not talk enough with each other about race. It is an issue we have never been at ease with, and if we are to make progress in this area, we must feel comfortable enough with one another to have frank conversations about the racial matters that continue to divide us. I share that quote in response to a resident's comments from our last meeting on January 3rd. This man who ran for Board of Education on a chillingly racist, anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion campaign complained that those of us who come to these meetings to speak up against racism in our community should stop being so negative. This is coming from the same man who called Chicago's first black lesbian mayor a wildly homophobic slur. The same man who defends the Confederate flag and attacks black people with disgustingly racist insults. The same man who argues that there's nothing wrong with white people wearing blackface and how he has fond memories of attending St. James minstrel shows. The same man who literally stood with the Proud Boys outside this building as one of them flashed a white power sign. The same man who, even in his January 3rd comments, continues to defend the Proud Boys, a defined terrorist hate group who took part in trying to violently overturn a presidential election, which this man and his ilk still believe was stolen. But most frighteningly, the same man whom this mayor, John McCormick, just said on the record last meeting that he recently met with and is looking forward to working with. Him and his team, my goodness. But then again, it was the Proud Boys who horrifically burned Black Lives Matter signs on historical black churches, so I guess it sadly makes sense that a mayor who calls the Black Lives Matter racial justice movement awful would want to meet and work with a man like Tom Maris. If only this administration wanted to meet and work with those of us who are actually committed to anti-racism. As Dr. King lamented in his letter from a Birmingham jail, it's not the Tom Marises and the overt white nationalists that he realized were the biggest obstacles to black liberation, but the white moderates.
1 minute, I just want to
Thank you, but the white moderates, the largest stumbling blocks to black liberation, who are more devoted to order than to justice, who prefer a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. Council President Ficarra, will this administration please agree to meet and work with the executive committee of the Perth Amboy Area Branch NAACP?
We have attended meetings in the past. We certainly will in the future.
No, will this mayor and this administration sit down with us the way you plan on sitting down with Tom Maris and his team?
Well, I can't speak for the mayor, but I'm the council president, and I'm saying that I would be happy to attend a meeting, which I have in the past.
Not attend our general meetings, meet with us, the executive committee, privately to discuss Woodbridge business.
I will start by attending your meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward. I hope our mayor will join us.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Folks, I just want to say one more time as Mr. Maris goes up there, I'm only giving the 1 minute warning out of courtesy in case you want to make a point towards the end. I don't want you to think I'm trying to interrupt you.
Good evening, Tom Maris. Always nice to hear Mr. Dorossi speak about me. There's a reason what I said about him at the last school board meeting, and all he does is continue to absolutely verify what I said. I was working for civil rights groups as a young Marine. My first duty station, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, was in Memphis, Tennessee, and I was outraged at 17 to know that I just gone through training with men that could be giving their lives, as I might be, or exchanging our blood, and they could not go in the same restroom that I did. I don't think too many people in this room have actually ever experienced that, or couldn't get on a bus, or couldn't go into a restaurant with your brother at arms. That, at 17, has never left me. So he can say whatever he wants. He goes on with his rhetoric, and he just tries to push his agenda. I hope he really does do something creative, and that's all the time I'm going to waste on him. I absolutely support the NAACP and any organization that looks to unite this country, not divide it. That said, I want to compliment, as I did at the school board meeting, and I have put it in the press, the McCormick administration, this body, for deciding that Ross Street School development there for the 94 apartment units was not in the best interest of this community. I totally supported that. In fact, I campaigned for it for a long time. But it was, at the end, your decision, and I think it was a very wise one, and I'm glad that you have made it. Again, I'd like to compliment the gentleman that comes forward, too, and talks about pilot programs. It's nice to see somebody else in town. I've been harping on it for 12 or 14 years. Got some fresh blood, some fresh ideas. I love it. Keep coming. Please talking about it. I'm not sure where we're going to go with it, but again, this is public participation. And I have to give credit to Mr. Dombrowski for one thing. I think because of his participation, he has gotten more members of the black community to come out to these meetings, which I think we all appreciate, because it shouldn't be any one group of people. The more diverse we become, the more open we become with each other, the better off we are. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening? Hearing no other comment, can I get a motion on the public portion comment be closed?
Motion.
Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, so we're going to go into our agendas. I'm going to go first. I think I'm just going to point out that both the club at Woodbridge and the Woodbridge Community Center have their winter flyers out. I'm going to put them up for the camera. There's a lot of great activities there. Some of the current trends of TRX and kettlebell training, Zumba classes to raise money for Have a Heart, ice skating lessons, all types of different types of things, winter leagues in various sports. The joiner's fee is waived until the end of this month. The craze of pickleball is hitting all of our sports areas. And there is a lecture on Tuesday, February 7th. It's called The Healing Power of Music, and this is at the Evergreen Senior Center. All of these things can be found on our website. The Chili Cook-Off is coming up on March the 5th, and that's right across the street at the Woodbridge Brewery. And then I'm going to jump all the way down to COVID-19 efforts, and speaking to our director, Mr. Pacharski, working with our community partner, Hackensack Meridian. There's a lot of education going on, and I know the trend, thank God, is going down as far as COVID is concerned and RSV and the flu. But Hackensack Meridian did give our health department some digital thermometers that will be distributed at a future date at some of our vaccine clinics. So our health department does a phenomenal job of keeping our people healthy even during a pandemic. And Mr. Pacharski, we always say that, and we mean it, so please extend that to the health department. Next up is Council Vice President. Mr. Anderson, you're up.
Thank you, Council President. First, I'd like to mention an event coming up at the Barron Arts Center. We have All That Jazz in New Jersey. So we'll be starting with the concert on March 31st, which is the Jazz Lobsters. That will actually be held at Woodbridge High School. And then there will be Forbidden Tropics Afro-Peruvian Jazz Ensemble on May 12th. And that will go through September 29th, Diane Perry Jazz Ensemble. That will be at the Barron Arts Center. That's all at 7:30. And then finally, there'll be an event, and that date is to be determined, Jazz Poetry Coffee House Series. More information, you can contact 732-634-0413. If you're looking for any basketball or baseball training, look no further than going to the Woodbridge Club. Geo Baker from Rutgers University is offering basketball training, and also Justin Silva recently graduated from Montclair State. He's a great baseball pitcher and homegrown here in Woodbridge, and they're at the club. Last week, we all attended a wonderful event. The MLK event was held at the Acacia Center right up here on Port Reading Avenue. It was a packed house. We saw a lot of kids there and some great speakers. We had our keynote speaker, Reverend Lawson from the First Baptist Church in Seawarren, but also a great speech from Miss Murphy, who's our principal at Ford's Middle School, who was here earlier today with her basketball team, her girls basketball team that won the 8th grade championship. Ms. Murphy gave a great speech, and we have Glenn Morgan from our HRC was also here, and Phil Hall from the Independent Club of Colonia, and all gave great and very unique speeches to add to that event, and it was very, very well attended, and I thought it was a great idea on behalf of our administration to hold it at the Acacia Center. We're trying to keep the youth in there, and while we're doing that, we want to make sure that they're learning and just learning about their, the great things that are going on here. Recreation basketball is in full swing as we enter week 3 of competition. Teams are practicing and playing almost every night of the week, so that's a great part about our recreation. We want to make sure that the rec kids are using the gyms and they're learning the game of basketball. Indoor rec soccer kicks off this weekend with close to 40 teams playing indoor futsal soccer at multiple middle schools and at the Woodbridge Community Center. The registration is open for spring soccer, baseball, and softball, so please go to the Department of Recreation website and register with the Community Pass. Questions, please contact the Department of Recreation at 732-596-4048. The Tooling Around the Township is an event that we haven't had in the last 2 years, and this is where people that are in need of repairs to their home reach out to the township and apply to the township to get assistance with projects that have been put off for a very long period of time. It's been a great event that we do every April, so it's back on this year. We realize that there's a 2-year backlog of homes, so we're just asking for the families to be patient that have applied in the past. You do have to apply, and you'd have to apply to Tooling Around the Township at 1 Main Street, Woodbridge, 07095, or you can be found, it can be found online or in the mayor's office. You can come in and apply there. Finally, the Independent Club of Colonia will be hosting their Black History Month event on February 26th at the Acacia Youth Center at 3 p.m. Doors open at 2:30 p.m. We're asking for a donation of a non-perishable item for our Woodbridge Food Bank. Our local Girl Scout troops will also be there selling their cookies. We do have some local people who are going to be honored there. Reverend Lawson from First Baptist Church, Detective Mark Zeno, and also Councilwoman Meehan, as she is the fourth Ward Councilwoman, Fifth Ward Councilwoman, and has been very supportive of the Independent Club of Colonia. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Bauer, you're up.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I have 2 announcements. Barron Arts Center Winter Lecture, The Magic of Lionel Trains, presented by the American Historical Theater, will be presented live at the Barron Arts Center on January 24th, which is tonight, at 7:30, so you got time. Seating is limited to allow for social distancing, so if you want, after the meeting, run down to the Barron Arts Center for a lecture on Lionel Trains. And another event at the Barron Arts Center, all seasoned chamber players, musical tasting delights from Vivaldi to Price, will perform a program of music from the 18th century on February 3rd, 2023 at 8 p.m. Reservations essential. Call 732-634-0413, and there's a suggested donation of $5. That's all I have. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Small, you're up.
Thank you, Council President. Number 2, Woodbridge Firefighters Local 290 are having their annual muscular dystrophy bowl-a-thon sponsored by the Woodbridge Township Professional Firefighters, IAFF Local 290, on Saturday, March 4th. At the Woodbridge Bowling Center, 346 Main Street, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's $11 to bowl, unlimited games, $9 minimum donation to the MDA. If you're interested, please contact Michael Maceduno at 732-882-3447, and you also get a t-shirt with your donation. Woodbridge PBA SOA. Woodbridge PBA will continue its tradition of participating in a polar plunge for Special Olympics on Saturday, February 25th in Seaside Heights. This year, the event plunge goal of raising $2 million. If you'd like to donate individually to the cause, you can go to www.plunge.org theplungeseaside.org, or you could check out the Woodbridge PBA 38 Facebook page. Follow the link to make a donation. Number 14, if you're looking for a delicious breakfast or lunch, reminder that Mayor Max Cafe is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's located at 881 Port Reading Avenue, West Avenue. American Irish, just a reminder, it'll be here before you know it. The 49th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held March 12th at 1:30 p.m. And the Woodbridge Elks, a couple of fundraisers. We have an evening with Frank. Come enjoy a classic Frank Sinatra sung by a local Woodbridge resident and Woodbridge career firefighter Chris Jago. It's a spaghetti dinner tricky tray 50-50. It'll be held at the Woodbridge Elks, 665 Roy Avenue, Woodbridge. And it's $35 for tickets, February 11th. You can contact Keith Repace at 732-887-2484. And it's going to be an interesting night. And one more event at the Elks. It is a spaghetti dinner fundraiser to benefit the DeVito Valentine family. It'll be held on Sunday, February 5th, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., $12 per ticket for an adult, and $8 for children 5 to 10. For advanced tickets, you can contact Chris at 732-634-7452, or you could buy them at the Elks that day after 5 p.m. That's all I have. I want to just thank all our first responders, all our township employees, and God bless America. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Small. Councilwoman De Jesus.
Thank you, Council President. Moving down to item number 10, the Free Public Library of Woodbridge. It's not too late to sign up for English language classes at Woodbridge Public Library, conversation groups, computer classes, and beginning English classes. Call 732-906-5456 to register. There will also be a training for new literacy tutors beginning February 1st, and you have to call 908-486-1777, extension 400, for more information and registration. On Wednesday, February 1st at 1 p.m., the main library will offer income tax issues for retirees. Know what to expect and how to plan. Learn about Social Security, pensions, side jobs, investment, home sales, income taxes for descendants and beneficiaries, and more. Register online at woodbridgelibrary.org or call library at 732-634-4450. I just have one other item. Item number 12, girls sports. Like Councilman Anderson said, I would like to congratulate the Forts Middle School girls basketball team for winning the middle school championship. It is my belief that girls work just as hard as boys, are as dedicated as boys, so we should be more supportive of girls in sports. With that in mind, we are talking, the Recreation Department, Council President and I have been talking to form a recreation runners program, and our plan is to start it this spring, and it would be for girls in grades 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grades to introduce them to running, and also to, again, get girls in sports, support girls in sports. I will follow up with more information as I get it, but please, anyone that has a daughter in 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, or if you know a young lady in those grades, this is to introduce girls to a running program and to build up their confidence and motivation to participate in sports. And that is all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman De Jesus. Councilman Spiller.
Thank you, Council President Ficarra. Item number 2, APAC, Avenue Performing Arts Center. There's only a few tickets left for comedian Judy Gold at APAC on February 4th at 8 p.m. Judy Gold is an American stand-up comedian, actress, television writer, author, and producer. She won 2 Daytime Emmy Awards for her work as a writer and producer on The Rosie O'Donnell Show. She's appeared on numerous television sitcoms with her comedy, so that is set to be a great show, a great night at APAC. Item number 8, Mr. Mitch, on Avenel Fire Department, can you please add Fire Prevention Week Open House October 14th, 2023 to that agenda line item, please? Item number 11, Cable Commission. Woodbridge Township Television is happy to announce the launch of our video channel TV 35 in high definition on channel 1077 1077 on the Comcast cable system. The HD channel is the result of years of negotiations between Comcast and the Woodbridge Cable Commission. The bulletin board, Channel 36, will cease operation on March 28, 2022. However, bulletin board notices will be incorporated into the Channel 35/1077 lineup. Come check us out in HD on Comcast Channel 1077. Our TV 35 crew is fantastic. I know a lot of people watch a lot of our sporting events, meetings, events, everything on the Woodbridge Channel's YouTube, but there's still a lot of residents that go to that Friday, watch that council meeting, and they watch TV 35 religiously. So I'm real excited that we are the only municipality that has their local programming in high def. So I know that was a keynote on our last negotiation, and I believe it also was started the negotiation contract before that. So it's well over 10 years into the works, but take a look at it. It's pretty sharp. Item number 12, Maple Tree Senior Center. I'd just like to once again wish Avenel's Phil Swoboda a happy 100th birthday. The mayor and myself presented Phil with a plaque proclaiming January 9th Phil Swoboda Day in the township at the Avenel Golden Senior Circle meeting. On a side note, Maple Tree Senior Center is located at the Avenel Knights of Columbus, and Phil was one of the founding members more than 50 years ago, along with the rest of the members who put notes on their houses so they could buy the Knights property and build that building. So here's to many more birthdays. The rest of my agenda is in order, Council President. Thank you to all our emergency responders, fire, EMS, our Woodbridge Police Department, CERT, and all of our public work and township employees. God bless America. Thank you, Council President.
Avenel Middle Boys.
Thank you. And tonight, congratulations to the Fords Middle School girls and the Avenel Middle School boys on they were presented procs, great seasons on taking the middle school championship for basketball. So thank you, Councilman Anderson.
Thanks, Councilman Spiller. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I'm going to go to number 1 on my agenda, Inman Avenue Business District Improvements. I'd like to thank administration, especially our township engineer, Mr. Gellin, for all their hard work that they put in to make downtown Colonia shine a little brighter this year. We've installed 24 new light towers along Inman Avenue, and we will be installing another 8 light towers to complete the avenue. We have also installed a clock tower by Walgreens, which will illuminate at night from dusk to dawn once PSE&G powers the meter cabinet. Keeping our downtown looking nice will attract new businesses and keep the ones we have there. So it's really important. We appreciate all the hard work the administration has done. Going down to number 4 on my agenda, have a heart food drive. The Woodbridge Township Have a Heart food drive kicked off this month. The Have a Heart food drive stands as the most important community and business-based food collection program undertaken throughout the entire year, and we are asking again local businesses, schools, and organizations to take the challenge this year by donating either 214 pounds of food or $214. At the holidays, so many people think about people that don't have enough food, but we kind of forget about it during the winter months, and we don't have as much food that comes in, but the need is still very great. So we appreciate anybody that can donate. The Have a Heart food drive is coordinated by Peter Barcelona. All you need to do is call Peter at 732-855-0600, extension 5034, and tell them where to pick up your donation. You can also drop it off at the Health Center, which is located at 2 George Frederick Plaza, anytime between 9 and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Also on February 11th, myself, along with students from Colonia Middle School, will be holding our own challenge, challenging Colonia residents to help us collect 214 pounds of food to donate to the Have a Heart. We'll be at the Evergreen Center on Inman Avenue in Colonia on February 11th from 10 to 2. There'll also be Girl Scouts there, so you could buy some cookies or donate some cookies to the food drive. Thank you to everybody that donates food throughout the year. You don't think it really matters, but it really does, and you help your neighbors that are hungry. So please, if you can even, give $1, give a box of food, something to help our food drive, we really appreciate it. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman, sure.
Regarding the food pantries and the food drive, it's very important to realize Debbie and I have become like a tag team this year in helping children in our community that go to our schools and their families. Different issues, various issues, but again, these are our neighbors, they're our friends, there are kids' classmates. So any donation that you can make is deeply appreciated.
Yeah, it's important because we've talked to families and there are children that are hungry and, you know, they go to school and they're hungry and they can't concentrate. And the more we help, we're helping others. So Elizabeth, you do a great job too. So thank you. We're a good
Thank you.
team.
Thank you, team. Councilwoman McAuliffe, you're up.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I always have one thing to discuss this evening, and that is regarding the Main Street and Route 9. I just want to let everybody know that there's new information on the website regarding the detours that will be happening on the road widening there, and it's very important to follow up and follow what police are directing you, as these detours are going to begin starting January 30th. So it is important to please make sure that you follow where they tell you to go, as there will be some detours happening as we widen the road out on Main Street by Wegmans and the Willis area. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Anderson, you need a couple more minutes.
Just on behalf of the Hall of Fame, I'd like to congratulate Colonia Patriot Madison Sierra. She became a 1,000-point scorer last year, but this year she became the all-time leading scorer, a record that was held by Tiffany McDaniel. It was set back in 2007. And against Woodbridge, before the end of the year, Madison eclipsed Tiffany's record of 1,157 points, and she still has several games left. She's following in her uncle's footsteps. Her uncle Justin was a 1,000-point scorer at Colonia. Her father was a great basketball player and football player and is a principal in our township. So congratulations to the Chiara family.
Thank you, Council. Mr. Mitch.
Thank you, Mr. President. My agenda is in order.
What we like to hear. From the administration, Mr. Semaluka, you want to kick it off?
Thank you, sir. Under Administration and Finance, I have a tax and sewer overpayment. I have a tax court judgment, and I'm pulling the last one because we moved it tonight. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Semaluka. Deputy Director Yishki, anything from police?
Thank you, Council President. On my agenda, I have 5 traffic and parking ordinance proposals and 3 handicap parking additions. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kucharski in the Health Department.
Yes, Council President, thank you. Requesting Council's approval to secure the noted grant for our childhood lead prevention program operation.
From Planning and Development, Director Dart.
Thank you, Council President. Nothing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works Engineering, Director Brew.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order.
Legal. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.